the woman was here working in the field because since she was, guys, don't climb on this. I consider this a holy site. Okay, the woman was working in the field because she was childless. So what, is she supposed to sit at home and do nothing? No, she went to work and be productive. She didn't have any babies to take care of, so she was out working in the fields. The angel appeared to her in this field, which is the field between Tzorah and Eshtaol in the camp of Dan. She went back up to her husband, who lived up where we came from, at the archaeological site at the top there, the little white area in the trees. That's where we hiked down from, basically, where the so-called tomb of Samson is. It's not really the tomb of Samson. She went back up there and she's all excited, told her husband, look, an angel came to me and told me that I'm going to have a son, and etc., etc. He prayed to God that the angel should come back. He probably thought that the angel would come to him. But instead, the next time when she was in the field, in the same place, the angel came to her in the field. So she said, hold on, wait here for 1 second. Let me go get my husband. He's been wanting to talk to you. She ran back up and told her husband. Her husband came back down with her to the field. And in the field is where the whole conversation happened with the angel. Now what we have here is a piece of bedrock, of sela, that crops out of the rock. You can see it's carved out. And afterwards, you can be careful because there's a clip here. You can carefully come around and see that it's carved all around, and this part was broken at some time in history. But it used to be a perfect square, okay? And it has a ledge, what's called a sovev, just like the altar in the temple had, where the priest would ascend a ramp to the area here, and they would bring the sacrifices on the top elevated area. It's an altar, it's clearly an altar, made out of bedrock. It's connected to the ground. And it's not built, it's chiseled out from an outcropping of the bedrock. Now, in archaeology, what's that? It's a different issue, I don't know. In the archaeology of the land of Israel, we have found dozens of altars from different periods. They've never found anywhere in Israel other than this an altar that's carved out of bedrock. It's always built up of multiple stones. Whether it's a Jewish altar or a pagan altar, it's always built up of multiple stones. It's the only altar ever found in Israel that's carved out of bedrock. So the Bible tells us, what I read for you, one place it says that Manoah offered the goat on the bedrock, and then a verse or two later it says that he offered it on the altar. It says he offered on the bedrock, and then when the flame went up from upon the altar, so it's an altar of bedrock. So how crazy is it? How much coincidence is it that in the field below Tzorah, between Tzorah and Eshtaol, the only altar of bedrock ever found in the history of archaeology of Israel was found here. Now let me take it further for you. 100 years ago, you know, there's a kibbutz around the corner here that we're going to pass later called Kibbutz Tzorah. It was founded about 100 years ago, one of the early kibbutzim in Israel. And most of the members, or all of the members of this kibbutz, were very secular people. Not all of them were knowledgeable in the Tanakh and the Bible. Maybe some of them were, but not all of them. And one of them, who was not, was wandering around here surveying new areas, maybe to develop a field here for the kibbutz. And he sees an old Arab guy from the village of Tzorah, an old goat herder from the village of Tzorah. And the goat herder calls him over and he says to him, come, come, come. I want to show you something. Now this kibbutznik didn't speak Arabic, and the villager didn't speak Russian or Yiddish or Hebrew or any of the languages that this kibbutznik spoke. But somehow he dragged him over here and he brought him to this stone here, and he told him, you see this? Da madbacha da Manoah. Which anyone who studied Talmud, the Aramaic and Arabic is very similar. Basically it means da, this, matbacha, it's the mizbeach, the altar, de Manoah, of Manoah. Okay, this is the altar of Manoah, he told him. In other words, the Arabs who lived up there in Tzorah, or what they called Tzara, they had a tradition that this is the altar of Manoah. So what do we have? We have a thing that fits the geography that it says in Tanakh. It's the only one like it. It's the only one in the whole country that could match the description of an altar carved out of bedrock. And the local Arabs who were living here before 1948 had a tradition that this is the altar of Manoah. Okay, he didn't just make it up. He wasn't a Bible scholar. He wasn't an archaeologist. He was an old shepherd who was telling what they say. He said, you're a Jew, you'll be interested. Come see. This is altar of Manoah. This is your guys' thing, you know, from your Bible. Muslims don't, they accept the Bible as a holy book, but they study the Quran, okay? So when he saw a Jew, he said, you're going to want to see this. It's from your Bible. Now, the irony is that this secular kibbutznik didn't even know what he's talking about. Manoah, what? Manoah. He couldn't figure out. So he went back to the dining room that night. And they eat together in the dining room. And he starts telling people this story. They asked him how the surveying went. He said, this old Arab guy came to me. He said, this is the Mizbeach of Manoah. Who's Manoah? What is he talking about? So another kibbutznik who did read the Tanakh said, what? You don't know the father of Samson? And they opened up and they started reading the story. And they realized, yeah, they're in Kibbutz Tzorah. They named it that because they know that this is the area of Tzorah. There's an Arab village called Sarah up there. They knew this is the area. It says it happened in a field. It says it happened on an altar made out of bedrock. And they came, they checked out, they said yes. So they called archaeologists here. The archaeologists dug around here, and they found burnt animal bones from the times of the Shoftim, of the judges, 3,000 years ago. They found residue of burnt blood. They found residue of wine and all kinds of things when they scraped into these little things over here. And basically, they proved that this is an altar going back to the times of the Shoftim, of the judges, approximately 3,000 years ago.